John Kavanagh, the DLP candidate for the Northern Metropolitan Region. Thank you, John.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity of presenting the DLP's platform. The Democratic Labor Party believe that poker machines are evil. I don't pretend that this is a startling revelation, as it's my contention that any fair-minded person, or any political party for that matter, that was simply looking at the social damage caused by poker machines would reach this same conclusion. I also believe that generally all political parties across the spectrum are honourable, and certainly their supporters and members are involved in the political process to improve the lot of their community. And I include the ALP and the Coalition in this. So why does it take small parties, including the Democratic Labor Party and some other like-minded independents that will not be forming the government, to have policies that are clear, decisive and unequivocal about the inherent evilness of poker machines? And I think the reason is clear. The parties that have the potential to form government are like so many in our community, that they themselves are also addicted. They're addicted to the revenue streams associated with poker machines. One that last year amounted to more than $1 billion in Victoria. You can say it quickly, $1 billion. It's actually $1,000 million. Last year in Victoria alone, lost $2.6 billion on poker machines. Around $700 for every adult Victorian. But of course it's not $700 for every Victorian. I didn't lose $700, and I suspect most people in this room didn't either. But of course others have lost much, much more. And not just in financial terms, but in every aspect of their being. And while poker machine players in Melbourne's West, at Werribee Plaza alone, lost over $19 million, waged over $19 million, the highest in the state, within Prime Minister Gillard's own electorate, second and third on that unwanted list are within Northern Metropolitan Region, where I'm standing, at Bundoora Tavern and Epping Plaza Hotel. And while this is going on, others are getting rich from it. Of course, many of these poker machines are in joint ownership with Woolworths. Does the party that you support accept political donations from Woolworths? It's a question worth asking the candidates today. The Democratic Labor Party wants to see this stain on Victoria removed, and we are completely opposed to a second casino in Victoria. The Democratic Labor Party's only current MP, my brother Peter Kavanagh, MLC, has worked on this issue, and in partnership with the Greens, it must be said as well, as we share this issue together. Many of the statements that he's made in Parliament have unfortunately been largely ignored by the mainstream media over the last 4 years. But I thought I'd take a moment or two just to give you a couple of passages of what he said from Hansard. On the 8th of December last year, he said, "Melbourne would be a more beautiful city and Victoria a happier, more prosperous and safer place if Crown Casino were wrapped in toilet paper and dropped into a very large sewer." Victorians would be happier if they, their families and members could be at reduced risk from the pernicious effects of problem gambling. Victorians would be more prosperous if they retained the billions of dollars that pour from their pockets into the poker machines and the gaming tables at Crown Casino and other gaming venues. On the 26th of May this year, in response to the gaming licences, he said, "I believe we should not be having an auction system for poker machine licences because we should not even be having pokey licences." He said, "As I have argued several times before, I believe pokies are the scourge on Victoria and indeed right throughout Australia. If we add up all the costs to everybody and not just a matter of the money to the government, as I have said before, I think pokies are already a bankrupt business. It amounts to an exploitation of the relatively poor, the less educated and the lonely." Personally, that was my brother, but personally I'm also proud to be a member of Moreland City Council, and we've been leading the charge in local government level by introducing a differential rate system for poker machine venues. It's a small step, as council's powers in this area are limited, but I think it's a significant one, and it's worth questioning the two major parties today if they intend to try and stop us from doing that by doing a sweetheart deal with poker machine venues. We in the DLP understand, however, that that's with deep regret that licences have been renewed until 2022. So we say clearly that we believe that at the conclusion of this licence agreement that each and every poker machine be removed from Victoria. This gives the Victorian government, of whatever political persuasion, 12 years to plan for the removal of the poker machine revenue that they themselves have become addicted to. 12 years to wean themselves off their own addiction, so that at the end of this contract, each and every poker machine in Victoria is removed. Thank you.
Chris Hosking from Castlemaine and an organisation called Epic and Up Pokies in Castlemaine.
Yeah.
We'll be fighting some more poker machines in Castlemaine, and we see tend to see that every poker place is a casino, not business.
Have you had any support from your local government on that fight?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm pleased to hear it.
My question is, considering the cash flow into treasury coffers, it makes me think that there's a lot of parallels between the heroin industry and the poker machine industry, where there are suppliers and collectors. The parallels are quite interesting. So I was just wondering whether you might have some sort of methadone program to wean the government off. I think 12 years might be 10 years, might not be long enough.
Interested when Tim Costello was talking about the civil libertarians. There's many things that we stop people from doing. We stop them from. We have illegal. It's illegal to take heroin in Victoria. As far as weaning them off, yes, I can see the point. I think it's important that for 140 years Victoria survived without poker machine revenue. Right? I can't see why we can't go back to that now.